We are operating on a frequency of 52 megacycles by authority of the Federal Communications Commission. A test program follows.
To you who've been trained technically, I need hardly say that there's still a number of problems to solve. I guess you know them as well as anybody knows them. But I think we've proceeded far enough to justify the statement, at least, that these technical problems are not insurmountable.
I'm sure they'll use some mouse screen. Give me predictions.
You're not muted, by the way.
I'm not muted.
Well, I haven't watched this yet. And I'm going to put myself and Brett on mute for the start of this.
See you later, guys. Let me know what you think of the transitions.
Hi, I'm Carl. I'm a Keyforge player, but I also do a Keyforge stream called Keyfrogs. I'm going to be participating in the KOTE tournament with my team, Patrick and Torvald, who's also fellow streamers, I suppose. I'm going to be playing for my first match a deck called the Cultured Scout Artist of Loxton. And I chose this deck because it feels like it's one of our most I want to say casual decks. I feel like it's probably gonna get when we hit the later matches, it'll just be destroyed by some super competitive deck that locks everything down. But the idea is basically that the first couple of matches will be very open, and therefore I will be able to get off all the crazy combos this deck has with Autoencoder and Graviton and Niflkong. And that's basically the general idea of the deck. Another reason for why we played this deck is also because it's a deck that we found a lot of surprise value in, and we've been playtesting it, me and my friends, a whole lot against all sorts of other competitive decks we each own. And it just seems to kick ass against multiple different kinds of lockdown and control. So we feel like it's also a very, very good startup, very, very open. It can take care of a lot of general situations while probably having some major counters. So unless my opponent is playing a very specific deck, I feel like I have a pretty good chance. I'm so calm right now. If I win, it's obviously pure skill. If it's not, then he probably had the advantage or something. Honestly, I'll just complain about the judges because they don't know how to count keys or something. It's gonna be my win no matter what. I'm here to win.
Hi, my name is Vincent Martin. I'm part of the Hamburg Atlanteans. It's a community team based around Hamburg, which is in northern Germany. And I'm one of 3 teams competing in KOTE from our regional selection. And we brought some very powerful decks for that. And in preparation for the event, we basically threw every deck we have as a whole team. We're like around about 18 people together and looked up what a 5-deck selection could look like. And ended up with 3 pretty solid lineups for our 3 teams. So we're happy and we're confident going into the event and hoping to show some great games. In preparation for the first round, since we don't know any of the deck lists, I tried to just get some reps in with the deck I'm planning to play today. So to get the feeling for the meta on TCO, because I think a lot of people are testing their decks for the tournament right now. So now is a good time to test out your decks that you want to bring and see if they perform well. Actually, I watched the Keyforge. They're very nice guys. That's why I called them out, because I was looking to face them in a friendly way and hope to have some great matches. They when they stream, they like the only times I've seen them, they played in real life. So I didn't quite catch their deck lists, or I didn't wanted to get any strategic adventure by looking at this advantage by looking at the stream. More so to get a feeling like how my opponents act and what their mindset is. And they're really great guys. Unfortunately, we can't both win, so I will see who draws better. I just recently, they posted in, I think, the KPL content creator channel. They posted their stream link, and I've seen 2 streams from them so far. For the first round facing them, I hope they actually brought a Keyfrog in their deck, because if not, I will lock them down and they will have no way out.
Deconstruction for KOTE7 for the first round, and here with me I have Katarzyna Wilki-Stępniak.
Hello everyone!
Antoni Saurus-Maślanka.
Hello there.
Robert Robik-Szat. So our deconstruction formula will be really simple. Wilki and Saurus will be deconstructing the Team A deck, and me with Robik will be deconstructing the Team B deck. And in the end we will show you our percentage rating, which deck is the most likely deck to win this matchup.
Let's start with our first deck. It's a very famous deck. I think all the players that play a lot on the TCO have lost against it and know it just by its name. Give a Sting, Shiver, Caprica, River. It's a great name, first of all, because it has references to my 2 favorite TV shows, namely Battlestar Galactica and Firefly. So I love it just for that, but it rhymes and it's great. And it's a great deck too. It's a very fun deck to play, but maybe not so very fun to play against.
Look at this deck, you have to notice 3 cards in Mars, and this is 2 copies of Mars First, 3 copies of Glix Proliferator, and 1 Martian Generosity. This set of cards let you really make this awful generosity lock when you play it, archive it, on, and it really has no end. And
yeah, you can do it every turn. To make matters worse and especially cruel is if you put Brainstem Antenna on Tezmal and then play your Mars creatures, you can lock opponent completely out of all the houses that they can possibly call. And it happened to me, unfortunately, because I knew that generosity combo was coming, so I tried to kill the Mars creatures, but they just came back and made the Tezmal all but more vicious.
So we have one really usual combo with Tezmal and Brainstem Antenna, but there's also one famous and really known Binary Rapture and Interdimensional Graft. I don't have to explain this to anyone. There are also other interesting cards in Logos, but some of them are really dangerous. Let's look at Wild Wormhole, which usually is really good card with some dangerous play potential. But here you can unlock Gateway and you turn immediately and destroy all your board. You can play Shatterstorm when your opponent has no Amber. It will just simply remove your Amber. You can play your Generosity when you don't want to, and then your opponent can Infurnace it. Basically, it is really dangerous to play these Wild Wormholes, and usually I would not consider playing them. Maybe if I am really safe. Unfortunately, this isn't the only card that's dangerous. We have 2 Igors, which often help, but as well as helping, they can discard your important cards, and these are also cards that in this particular deck are working fine, but they can be really unlucky.
So it requires a lot of finesse playing this deck, and I think it's one of the reasons that it has 13 likes on decks of Keyforge, because it's not as simple, oh, I play Martian Generosity and just do the key abduction. You have to really work on the win con in this deck, and it's fun. And while Wormhole has some dangerous play in the Unlock Gateway, the Unlock Gateway is, I think, really important in the current meta to have full board clear at your disposal.
You always have to notice 2 Exiles, which are really universal in this deck. You have Charette to control Amber, Dust Imp to generate Amber, Igor to dig your deck down to find your most important card, and Glix Profilators if you want to archive your Mars and prepare your next Mars turn.
So, on the whole, this is a very strong and fun deck, and I think it's heavily favored in very many matchups, and in this particular one that it's faced in round 1 of KOTE, there are some cards in the opposing decks we are really scared of, and the most important is of course Infurnace, because it's such a good combo breaker. Fortunately, our Martian Generosity can be safe, because with 2 Mars First we have a good chance to just always stack it in the archive and never leave it it in the discard pile. But losing Mars first would really hurt. Losing the Tesmal is brutal. Losing the Brain Semantena. So there is a lot of hurt that the Infernus can do.
Also, because our opponent is mass mutation, we are of course scared of efficiency. Opponent has Niflkong with 2 it's coming, one from Logos, one from Untamed, and if they can play it early, it could be game over in turn 1 or turn 2. The same thing applies to Ultra Graviton. 5 cards in archives could give you so much advantage that you can't just combo it out, and Autoencoder could really help. And if this deck has no artifact control, so it simply sits and archives card as long as enemy wants.
Yeah, and I think to mention also one other card, Mark of this, we also don't want the opponent to control our turns, because obviously with Brig and with Martian Generosity, we want to do particular things on a particular turn. It's really bad if we are locked out of it.
I think that definitely Keyvasting is much more funnier deck and also much more favorable. This Tensas difference and really strong combo would probably give it around 70% chances of success, but I'm not that familiar, so I'll let it be decided by the match itself.
Oh yeah, I think I agree. I think it's heavily favored. So this one is heavily favored, and it's because it tools to make all the combo work, and the other deck to win, it requires to really high roll in the first few turns to either play its Niflkong or the Ultra Graviton.
Now let's dive into the construction of opponent.
Well, thanks. Despite our opponent bringing Brig with Martian Generosity, our chances are still viable here. It has strengths despite not being the well-rounded deck. And Dominic, what strikes you first when you look at Scout Artist?
The first feature I see in this deck are 2 big creatures, Ultra Graviton and Niflkong, both in the same deck. So with these 2 big guys comes 2 It's Coming cards, so it's really nice because we could prepare our next big turn with Logos, playing It's Coming from Untamed, for example, and searching for 1/2 of Ultra Graviton. And both of these big creatures are a lot of efficiency for us. We shouldn't be actually attached to them on our board because our opponent is playing 3 Fates, so it almost always instantly kills them, but they could still give us a lot of value from being played. Also here we have Troop Call, and this card could bring the lower half of Niflkong from our discard pile. So combined with Autoencoder, we could sometimes discard Niflkong bottom just to gain some advantage from this. What are your thoughts about the upcoming matchup?
Yeah, so matchup wise, I see many lines when we actually win the game. The first thing is that we need to establish the board. We have, as you mentioned, the 2 big guys, so we can either start with Logos or Untamed, and so we just need to dodge the unlocked gateway, and even the 3 Fates are not such a big deal, I believe. We need to have like the massive mass mutation board with many creatures around there, because first of all, there is no artifact control and we have Obsidian. If we have enough creatures, we can easily forge, and also we have the Keyfrog as well. There are some lines, there are not many lines, when you can actually forge 2 keys in a turn using just Obsidian Forge by sacrificing enough creatures, and as well a Keyfrog with some Ember enough to forge both keys. So there are chances, but we need to establish the board. But while playing, we need to also think about the opponent's deck, right? So there are things like Interdimensional Graft with, of course, the Binary Rapture to combo it. We want to forge keys, but we can't go higher than 6 basically, unless the Graft was already played. And then we also need to think what creatures and where to put the creatures on the board, because it's tempting to use Titan Engineers to make the keys cost more, because there are most of our Ember control, right? Pumping up the key cost makes Martian Generosity easier to pull, like with the crazy amount of Amber, right? Because with 2 Titan Engineers, they can easily go on 7 and there's no check, so basically they can then use Generosity to draw basically the whole deck. So we can also trap them by letting them just go up to 7 and then destroying our Titan Engineers to let them forge and to make their Generosity turn less effective.
Yeah, so looking at this matchup, what chances are you giving here? So percentage wise, how are the chances for us?
Yeah, I'm really excited for this deck, and even though we also have like the Mindfire to stop the wombo combos, right? To just discard the Generosity or even a Graft or Rapture, and we have such a great ideas here. I'm still not happy with the matchup itself. And I would say that have like 30% of the chance to win. Like still the deck isn't as efficient and there are too many lines when we lose. What do you think about the matchup?
Yeah, personally think that 70-30 is what we could settle on. So that's just you know what we agree on with the other team.
Why are you muting me?
Now you're on mute.
Why? So, thank you, Control the Disc, for that amazing deck construction.
Deconstruction. But yes.
Deck construction. They insist that it's called a deck construction.
Okay, if they want to insist that, they can insist that.
Right. So, game's already got started. We've got Daughter coming up first. There was a mulligan. And strong open hands for both players after going from that.
I'm not so sure about Das Muzzle. So the Keyfrogs hand, it's not bad, but I wouldn't say I would mulligan that, wouldn't you?
Well, they did mulligan the first hand, and I think they mulligan and got this one.
Well, they're on 7 cards there at the moment, so I'm guessing they haven't mulliganed yet.
That's because they got Daughter out.
That is true. Yes, that's a fair point. So sorry, missed that. Well, let's keep going. So Daughter first, Anna, then an Igor comes down from Kiwi. And that's interesting to see.
Igor comes down, Griffith's Proliferator goes down, double Igor. He loses the Harvester, so basically Kiwi or Vincent is trying to cycle for the deck as quickly as possible to get the best Mars turns going. And we see a Shatterstorm and a Martian Generosity in hand, and that is 2 big pieces of the combo.
Yeah, and what did the archive did you see?
I missed it.
Okay.
Probably another Mars card.
Yep.
So Titan Engineer comes down. Titan Engineer is one of those cards that you're probably not going to want to keep off the flank, because the higher you make the key costs go, the more Vincent's Generosity gets value.
Yeah.
Exhume on the Igor. What Vincent wants to be cycling for this deck as quickly as possible. Shret's going to come down, keep the Amber under control from Danks Moodle. And Proliferator is exhumed. Proliferator needs to die.
Oh god, yeah.
Turn. Guilty Hearts beautifully gets rid of that. We see a Mind Fire on the Shatterstorm, and we see an Infernus. And if you look at the deck, I would have Infernus the Shatterstorm, but both Exhumes go down. It was a good choice. Exhume is very powerful in this deck with the Proliferators.
So we've got half Niflkong now, down below.
Half Niflkong, a Lost in the Woods double pip. And this is what Danks Moodle's deck does. It just cycles. It just generates so much amber so quickly. Vincent reaping up, gets to 4. We see the second Proliferator in hand. Plays its coming, which was archived by Dex, so that means that Niflkong's going to come down. There is also a Troop Call and an Auto Encoder in this deck for Dax Modal, so the Niflkong has some serious power behind it. Here comes the first of many Mars turns.
Well,
plays Proliferator, puts Brainstorm Antenna onto it. Plays Fixal Finger, ready to Proliferator. Reaps, Archive Shatterstorm. No, Archives Harvester. Then plays Collector Worm, ready to Proliferator.
Yep.
Reaps, Archive Shatterstorm. Martian Generosity. Draws Mars first, Proliferator, Shockworm.
Everything.
Proliferator, yep. Basically, at this point, Vincent is going to have his deck in his hand for the entirety of the turn. But this does not put Danks Moodle out. Look at that hand. 2 Lost in the Woods. Niffle Ape. Niffle Kong.
Full Niffle Ape. Full Niflkong, sorry, yeah.
And an attendant with a capture icon on it. And a low dawn.
Just needs to get it down. And then another Proliferator.
There are 3 in the deck. There are 3.
I don't think they're amazing cards, but with Brainstorm Antenna and this deck, yes, they are.
Yeah, these are insane cards when put on this. The Mindfire was, as can't touch this, but the Mindfire hit a very crucial card. Lost in the Woods to get rid of Proliferator and Proliferator, but the Marsh Generosity has already been archived, so they're going to come straight back. Discards Niffle Ape, discards Gloria's Attendant, uses Lodon to get up to 7, and then plays the Niflate with the so is sat on 8.
Why? So why do you think that Niflate was discarded here?
They were discarded.
So
the
Niflkong, yeah.
Yeah, and then they'll
just look at sorry, man. Look at Kivi's hand.
Yeah.
I want you to tell me exactly what's in it.
That's not a hand. That's a deck.
It's his purge pile is bigger than his archive drawer and discard combined.
Yes. Now, Kiwi can just keep generating amber, and the Shatterstorm every turn is just going to keep Danksmoodle down. Vincent knows that he needs to keep on top of this board, keep on top of this amber pile, and if the Infernus was used to purge the Shatterstorm, it would have become a race, a very close race. But Danksmoodle would now be on the second key with 2 amber carryover, and would have just needed to get to 6. But you in hand, there's also Brig. There's we really had to say. I would have loved to see how that line went down, but the way we're seeing it here, Danksmoodle's doing everything he can to increase key costs to try and keep control of the board, because there's no key abduction in this deck.
But that's the Keyfrog they live by.
Keyfrog has come down. They've got every. There's a second. It's coming. Auto encoder with Troop Call and Niflkong can do some serious archiving, but now it's just Mars every turn. They do not need to go anything else. Yeah, not tonight. When I was looking at it, when I was watching this, I said they need to purge the Shatterstorm, and it's one of the things I brought up in the after-game interview. But it was just a case of Danksmoodle's line of thinking was the Exhumes were going to be huge because of the Igors, because of the Proliferators. So getting rid of them early made more sense to him, and to me that's a perfect line of thinking.
Yeah. So I mean, he's now on 9 amber here. I mean,
9 amber. Danksmoodle can make the keys cost 7. Can make the keys cost 9 with putting Titan Guardian off and also playing the Waking Nightmare. But the main issue is even if you get on top of this Mars board, there's so much you can just play the rest of his hand. So we see 2 Niflapes, Troop Call with the auto encoder. If this had come earlier, this would have been some nice speed.
A different game.
But the lockdown from Vincent is real.
Yeah.
There's not even that much to really say, because it's the exact same turn from Vincent every single turn.
It makes it unfortunately a little bit dull to play, I imagine, for Danskmoodle, for the Keyfrogs guys. But yeah, it's the game at this caliber. This is what happens. You lock them out. You keep playing.
Remember, this is edited down. These turns were a lot slower.
Yeah. I think you added extra padding in, to be honest. But no, man.
Did I mess up here? Should we? Archives my first place. Fixer Finger, Ready's Proliferator. It's just because the worst thing is you can see it coming. Even from Carl's point of view, he knows what every turn's going to be from here, so you can see the beating coming every turn. Go straight back up to 10. Reap for the Niflape. Reap for the Niflkong, and Troop Call bounces the Niflkong, which I love. Destroys Niflate, steals damage, steal 1. This Keyfrog could be huge if there was a way to destroy it, even just to get that second key. Yeah, the Collector Worms, as Not Tonight pointed out, the Collector Worms put the creatures in the archive, and then you just pull your archive every turn, polluting your opponent's hand. Basically going, okay, I know what you've got in your hand, and it's nowhere near what I've got in my hand.
Yeah. That's a strategy I liked a lot with the last Vulture I went. My record was 17 opponents' creatures when I just wanted to see how much I could eat. So, 17 opponents' cards were in my archive.
So plays the Niflkong, gets all the Niffles back after discard. And then discards 2, which because it's not going to make much difference. But look at this: plays the Niffle Ape, gets 6, drops the Keyfrog. No way to kill the Keyfrog. I do like these at half. I do like the half cards. The half cards are much better than the full cards.
Yeah, definitely.
And there we go. So Vincent takes the win, and I should have a new fancy transition come up after the GGs are done.
Yep, here it comes.
GG.
GG.
We should go into
I
mute
just
because
want to say,
yeah,
that was a very decisive victory. I felt the loss like when I saw your deck.
You had the chance to for Furnace to purge 2 of my Mars cards, like I think was
Right.
the Harvester and maybe Shatterstorm.
Yeah,
or something?
I think I should. I definitely agree that I should have done that. I remember at that point I realized way too late that you were just gonna play Mars for the rest of the game. I remember I just figured, okay, you used 2 Igors in your first turn and then Infernuses, so I just assumed that you were gonna run through your deck instantly and then use your Infernuses on whatever all the time. And I figured that would be some of your strategies, so I just removed those. Plus that killed your Amber, but yeah, that's definitely a misplay in hindsight.
Yeah, but overall, like I really like your deck, and it's pretty unique with the double gigantic creatures and all the bounds with the Niffle Apes, and yeah, really liked it.
like the autoencoder and the Niffle Apes and troop calls. They're so much fun. And honestly, I don't know if you noticed, but if I know, but if in your next turn you would have removed all my Amber and all that, but I was sitting with but Keyfrog and Obsidian Forge were on my was on my field, and I had a bunch of disc creatures in my archive. So I was really hoping for some reason a few turns before that I could just create a double key out of nowhere and then see if I can snatch the victory by that. But yeah, no.
Yeah, I was really scared of that. Like All for One, in the interview before the game, he asked me if I want to do some smack talk, and I said I hope they actually brought some Keyfrogs because otherwise I will lock them out. And then I saw your deck and saw like double key cheat, and I was kind of like scared. Double key cheat, Infernus, double gigantic creatures. That's pretty sweet. That's why I Shatterstormed, tried to Shatterstorm even for 3 Amber or something, because I was afraid you'd just burst away and get some keys.
It was so annoying that you constantly just Shatterstormed me. I was constantly thinking, okay, I can do something, and then I constantly reminded myself that you at any turn play all your mask cards, and therefore you can just Shatterstorm all the time.
Yeah. That's true, but that's scary because like he bursted his first key and then he would be at 2 keys, and then he could go maybe into this and play a bunch of creatures that way, and Obsidian Forge me for games. So my game plan was really not giving him the second key because I thought 1 key he might just burst out.
Major misplay. I just didn't see the Mars potential. I knew that Mars would be definitely the strongest part, but I didn't expect you to play it every turn. So that's
it's just too efficient.
Jesus, man, you had your entire deck on your hand all the time. I mean, I was sitting playing, and I remember I was thinking, okay, it's very fine, even if I find a way to make you not play Mars for 1 turn. If I find a way to outvalue your Mars, you have all sorts of board clears and other denials and shit like that on your other houses, and you're sitting with literally all of them at any time.
Yeah. I just looked it up. Yeah, you played Mindfire and hit my Shatterstorm and then Infernus. So yeah, just some salt in the wound, I guess. But
if I had drawn Infernus again at some point, I would definitely have gone for anything Mars related.
Yeah, if you manage to purge the antenna, that's huge too, because the antenna really helps archiving all this stuff.
It's a lot of your burst. It's an Amber for every creature.
Yeah, and in addition to that, I can re-archive all the shit I just played.
Yeah. Oh, that was exhausting, that match. Just want to be honest there.
That's quite chattering, right? Yeah.
I'm just gonna continue my shit posting and all that shit talking, and say that luckily for me, all my teammates are way better than me, so we're far from out of the game.
Okay, yeah. I will wish your teammates some luck because they will need it. So damn. I will
Nice
grab some
friendly
food now.
rivalry.
So
Yeah, me
thank
too.
you for
Gonna eat my sadness away. Bye.
see ya.